Still have to vote on the final amended bill. Erica Brown has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Senators worked to finalize a spending bill Monday that would end the government shutdown after 7 Democrats and 1 independent voted with Republicans Sunday night in a breakthrough deal to end the stalemate.
After 41 days, I'm grateful to be able to say that we are close to getting the government reopened.
The agreement funds the government through January 30th, reverses shutdown-related layoffs, and guarantees back pay to all federal workers. It also includes 3 longer appropriations bills with funding for SNAP benefits.
We should not be putting workers at risk, the people of this country at risk, when we have policy disagreements.
Notably, the deal does not include an extension of Affordable Care Act tax credits, a key demand from Democrats during the shutdown, only the promise of a vote in December.
I cannot support the Republican bill that's on the floor because it fails to do anything of substance to fix America's health care crisis.
The amended bill will still need House approval, and Speaker Mike Johnson urged members to return to Washington quickly for a possible vote. If the House passes the measure with these changes, it would head to the president for his signature, ending the shutdown. As the deal works its way through Congress, flight disruptions are piling up nationwide. But the head of the Air Traffic Controllers Union called the breakthrough a step in the right direction.
Whatever it takes to open this government and pay our members is what's needed right now.
In a social media post, President Trump pushed air traffic controllers to return to work and said he'd recommend a $10,000 bonus for those who did not take any time off during the shutdown. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, despite calls from the federal government to block food assistance, Hawaii lawmakers say aid will still be available. Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke says the state will not take back SNAP benefits that recipients already received for November, as ordered by the Trump administration. Luke adds the federal government has said states who do not retrieve deposits will be responsible for the money. We spoke to one SNAP beneficiary who's relieved to get her November deposit, but the uncertainty is worrying her.
It's concerning, it's scary too. So, I mean, I'm not the only family suffering here. So, you know, everybody, like, we're all going to food banks and stuff, and, you know, we're trying to, like, scrape for, you know, what we got, which is not much.
The state says it has not gotten reports of widespread issues with SNAP EBT transactions. Beneficiaries are also set to receive $250 from the Hawaii Emergency Food Assistance Program on their EBT cards today. And Native Hawaiians who have been impacted by the shutdown can now apply for OHA's $6.1 million emergency assistance program. Native Hawaiian residents who have lost or experienced reduced SNAP benefits, or are federal civilian workers who have been furloughed or are experiencing pay interruptions due to the shutdown are all eligible. We have a link to apply at hawaiinewsnow.com. Meanwhile, more on the impacts of the shutdown that are building at the nation's airports due to a lack of air traffic controllers. Today, FlightAware says more than 1,700 U.S. flights have already been canceled and more than 4,700 are delayed. 13 of the cancellations are flights in and out of Honolulu. Chris Van Cleve has the latest on the slowdown in the skies.
A delayed and frustrating weekend for flyers. More than 25,000 delays and over 5,500 cancellations. And that's after the FAA ordered airlines to cut flights at 40 of the nation's busiest airports to take pressure off the system.
Our best case scenario is that we'll be able to leave here in 2 hours.
Much of the issue due to a surge in air traffic controllers' sick calls, hitting a shutdown high of at least 81 staffing shortfalls at FAA facilities Saturday, according to the Transportation Secretary, with more on Sunday.
We're delayed right off the get-go. We hadn't even left for the airport yet, so then we missed our connecting flight in Minneapolis.
In Atlanta, the world's busiest airport saw nearly 500 cancellations Sunday after just 4 of the 22 air traffic controllers scheduled showed up to work Saturday. The average delay hit nearly 5 hours. Dallas, Fort Myers, Florida, and all 3 of the New York City area airports were hit with staffing delays Sunday.
Family of 4 here, 4 kids were forced to kind of sleep in the airport.
Controllers are poised to miss a second paycheck this week due to the government shutdown. Airlines will again cancel 4% of flights to those 40 airports today. That'll climb to 6% Tuesday and hit 1 in 10 flights by Friday. American Airlines Chief Operating Officer David Seymour.
We know people are traveling for a reason. And so what we're looking at is trying to find those options where we have reaccommodations. We are doing our best to get them on another routing to get them ultimately to their destination.
Do you have any concerns about the safety of the system today?
I have no concerns about the safety. I think this adds some margin.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says more flights may need to be cut.
It doesn't get better. It gets worse until these air traffic controllers are going to be paid.
The airlines are locking in their cancellations for the rest of the week because of that FAA order. Expect residual delays and cancellations Monday because of the issues over the weekend and the severe weather in parts of the country. One thing to think about, as lawmakers may need to make their way back quickly to Washington to vote on reopening the government, every day that passes, there will be fewer available seats to Washington, D.C. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
Well, happy Monday, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. Here's a quick look at our surf conditions across the state. We have a high surf advisory up for all north-facing shores. That's going to continue until 6 a.m. on Tuesday. This northeast swell has also caused a marine weather statement to be issued by the National Weather Service due to the surges that's expected in northern harbors. We're seeing that swell impacting a lot of activity out there. And our swell forecast going forward, you can see the swell that we're tracking today is going to be on the decline as we're going into Tuesday. More energy is going to be moving in from the northwest on Wednesday, a little bit smaller on Thursday and Friday. Another northwest swell is going to be moving in as we're going into the weekend. I'll give you a breakdown of the actual numbers in your surf and shoreline forecasts coming up.
Thank you, Drew. Honolulu police have positively identified a body found in Waipio as Jonavan Monalim. Now, he was a former government witness who testified in the 2004 Poly Golf Course shootout case where members of an illegal gambling operation opened fire at one another. Monalim was last seen leaving his Kapolei home Wednesday evening. Multiple sources say a spent bullet casing, blood, and items belonging to Monalim were found Thursday at Pearl City Industrial Park. His body was then found late Friday. HPD has not released any information on the suspects. If you know anything, please call 911 or Honolulu Crime Stoppers. On Hawaii Island, Robert Bradshaw has been charged with a murder in Hilo. Now, he's accused of running over and killing a 64-year-old man in a parking lot off Kamehameha Avenue Saturday morning after a fight between the two. The 70-year-old is due in court later today. His bail is set at $510,000. And back on Oahu, 43-year-old Ishmael Luavasa has been charged with attempted murder after he allegedly attacked a man in Waikiki. Police say the 50-year-old visitor was assaulted outside the Waikiki Beachside Hostel on Lemon Road at around 12:20 a.m. Saturday. The victim suffered severe head injuries and was rushed to the hospital. Luavasa was arrested at the scene shortly after. His bail is set at $300,000. Happening today, residents of the Union Plaza building in downtown Honolulu are holding a press conference because they say the owner is attempting to illegally evict them. Back in September, a dozen residents were kicked out, with the building's owner claiming violations such as drug sales and unpaid rent. He had also said the building would be converted to student housing in the future, which would require everyone to eventually move out. Today's press conference is happening at Union Plaza at 5 p.m. On the Big Island, the Mana Road fire, which has been burning about 7 miles from the Mauna Kea access road, is now about 60% contained. This is video from Friday. Officials say the blaze has scorched 2,100 acres so far, but fire breaks have been cut completely around the burn area. No residents or structures are threatened, but smoke from the fire will continue to be an issue. And on Maui, if you see smoke in the Waikapu area today, it may not be cause for alarm. MFD will be conducting wildland fire training near the Maui Tropical Plantation. It'll take place until 3 p.m. Now, more training is also scheduled on Wednesday and next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. More big league athletes are accused of taking bribes from gamblers, raising new questions about so-called prop betting. 2 pitchers for the Cleveland Guardians have been indicted, but they deny any wrongdoing. Scott McFarland has the details.
Just a little bit outside. Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase, 2 Cleveland Guardians pitchers, are accused of deliberately throwing bad pitches while on the mound.
The best place to bet baseball.
To help gamblers win nearly $500,000 in prop bets from betting those pitches would be outside the strike zone, and even sometimes placing wagers on their velocity.
So let's see if he can be efficient, throw it over the plate, and the first one bounces in the grass.
The 2 players are accused of then taking a kickback from the bettors. As CBS News reported last month, this pitch by Ortiz in a game in June got the attention of security experts who track sports gambling.
I think the first inclination for everybody, and myself included, is there's something not right there.
Jason Van Hoff works in the industry that identifies suspicious surges in bets around sports, like the one that preceded Ortiz's pitch. In a statement to CBS News, an attorney for Ortiz said his client is innocent and would never improperly influence a game. Major League Baseball says it has fully cooperated with the probe. But this isn't just a baseball problem. This case was filed by the same prosecutors who recently charged NBA player Terry Rozier in a separate alleged prop betting scheme to share inside information with gamblers. Rozier denies the charges. William Hinman, a counselor in recovering problem gamblers, says prop betting is increasingly becoming a problem for fans as well.
Why do people like that now?
Because it's the action. It's the immediate dopamine hit. You're gambling emotionally throughout the game. So if the game's not going your way, you're putting in all these in-between prop plays, micro bets, and it's getting you in trouble. You end up taking a huge loss.
Amid this series of cases, some states, Ohio included, are considering new bans on sports prop bets. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Washington.
Ahead on This Is Now, President Trump issues pardons for more than 70 of his political allies who were involved in efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Plus, an early winter storm blasts the Midwest with heavy snow, ice, and gusty winds. A closer look at some of the severe weather impacts. Welcome back. The Justice Department has announced that President Trump has issued pardons for dozens of his most loyal allies accused of trying to aid efforts to overthrow the results of the 2020 presidential election. Julia Benbrook is at the White House with the details.
President Donald Trump has pardoned a list of political allies for their support or involvement in alleged plans to overturn the 2020 election. And it is quite a lengthy list. The Department of Justice says in total, 77 people received what they are referring to as full, complete, and unconditional pardons. Department of Justice pardon attorney Ed Martin posted a signed proclamation which read in part, "This proclamation ends a grave national injustice perpetrated upon the American people following the 2020 presidential election and continues the process of national reconciliation." The individuals listed include high-profile figures like Trump lawyers Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and the president's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows. This group of presidential pardons is seen by many as symbolic since it only applies to federal criminal cases, and no person on the list has been charged with a federal crime. Many, though, have faced or are facing charges in states that investigated efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. The pardon also explicitly states that it does not apply to Trump. This move marks Trump's latest step to absolve or protect allies who tried to overturn the 2020 election results. One of his first actions during his second term was to pardon over 1,000 people charged or convicted for their actions during the January 6th attack on the Capitol. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
A severe storm system is bringing the first taste of winter to millions across the country, with many places seeing the first snowfall of the season. Shaquille Brewster is in Chicago, which was blanketed overnight.
Hi there. Well, you're seeing this fresh layer of snow here in the Chicago area. It was not as much as we expected, but still enough to cause somewhat of a slick commute this morning. And of course, there's those images that we saw overnight as it was really coming down really throughout the Midwest. Some cars that were stranded and stuck, but really the one thing we're focused on are these temperatures. I feel it on my face right now. The wind is really whipping, and it's more than just the Midwest chill that we talk about, but these are cold temperatures, a cold Arctic blast that's really stretching much of the country from the Midwest all the way down to Texas. That is something that we're definitely watching for, some unusual and unseasonably like temperatures, something you would expect more for December and January. And something else that we're continuing to watch as we're expecting another band to come through of lake effect snow through the Midwest is the impact that it will have on travel. Of course, we've been talking about the impacts that the government shutdown have been having, slowing down flyers. Well, this is something, and talked about the wintry mix, this is something that could also have that negative effect on travel. But for now, you have people out here along the lakefront, some running, enjoying it in some cases, but really bracing for this Arctic air that the Midwest is dealing with. Back to you.
And stick around. Coming up after the break, we don't have to deal with the cold out here. It's going to be breezy over the next couple of days. We're going to be seeing temperatures around 84 to 85. Strong trades possible midweek. The details coming up.
with Drew Davis.
All right, well, happy Monday, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. We've got a breezy week ahead of us alongside that high surf advisory that we already talked a little bit about. Here's a look at our first alert weather headlines and what we're tracking. You can see dry and stable air out there. Some cooler temperatures expected overnight the next couple of days. We also have that high surf advisory up for north-facing shores. And again, we have breezy trades expected during the middle of this week. We might even see some wind advisories go up by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. A surf advisory, again, is up for all north-facing shores until 6 a.m. on Tuesday. The National Weather Service has also issued a marine weather statement out there for the surges in northern harbors. So harbors like Kahului and over in Hilo mariners need to be a little bit careful as they're going out into the water because of the surges coming in from the north because of the swell. Our surf and shoreline forecast, here's the numbers. North-facing shores around 15 to 20 feet. West-facing shores steady around 5 to 7 for this afternoon. We'll start to see the surf on the decline as we're going into tomorrow. And you can see in our island-by-island forecast for your Veterans Day. Over on Kauai, we've got showers likely before noon, partly sunny over there. The main thing that I want to point out as we're going down the island chain is that the winds are going to be pretty strong over the next couple of days. Northeasterlies between 10 to 20 miles per hour, sometimes gusting higher than 25 miles per hour, especially in areas that are just downslope or just downwind of Mauka regions. Maui County, mostly sunny, scattered showers out there, pretty breezy across the Valley Isle tomorrow. Kailua Kona around 83 degrees, mostly sunny out there. Weaker winds on the leeward side of the Big Island. Showers are likely on the Hilo side. Some moisture is riding in along the trade winds. The northern portions of Hawaii Island, we're seeing partly sunny conditions, wind gusts getting closer to 25 miles per hour. Our winds outside right now, pretty breezy. Actually, in town, we're seeing sustained winds around 21 miles per hour out of the east and northeast. And as we're going forward, you're going to see this pattern is going to continue. So we're going into Tuesday around 11 a.m., still seeing sustained winds closer to 20 miles per hour across the state. A little bit weaker over near Hawaii Island, and even stronger as we're going into Wednesday out there, seeing sustained winds in Kahului around 25 miles per hour. Typically, the wind readings read a little bit higher than what we're seeing in the weather models out there. Our first alert radar and satellite, moisture's riding in along the trades. We're going to continue to see a few showers over windward areas going forward, but not a ton of rainfall compared to what we were seeing over the weekend as that front moved through. Our 7-day forecast, you can see Veterans Day tomorrow, going to be pretty breezy, and we're going to be seeing strong winds persist until Thursday, slightly weaker as we're going into the weekend.
Thank you, Drew. Still to come, canines aren't the only animals being used by law enforcement to help fight crime. How this otter is helping officers solve cases in Florida in 2 minutes. good news happening now ahead of Veterans Day. Mayor Rick Blangiardi is signing Bill 62 into law. This is a live look at the ceremonial signing at the Oahu Veterans Center. Now, the bill provides military veterans 65 years of age or older an exemption from the city's motor vehicle registration fee for one vehicle. The law is scheduled to go into effect on July 1st of next year.
How awesome.
Yeah.
And a furry friend is helping deputies find human remains and missing people underwater, but this is no canine.
Jack Wu introduces us to a search and rescue otter who's making a splash at the department.
Law enforcement has been using canine units to help find people for decades, but now they're putting their trust in an otter. Splash the otter, depicted on this challenge coin, represents the first of its kind, a search and rescue animal that can smell underwater. The sheriff tells me that innovation like this can help save lives. Meet Splash the otter, a search and rescue otter who's helping first responders across Florida. Splash has the unique ability to smell human remains underwater by shooting air bubbles that trap the scent. Law enforcement from across the state, including West Palm Beach and Riviera Beach, took part in training with Splash at the Martin County Sheriff's Office Thursday. Michael Hadsell with Peace River Search and Rescue explains why he decided to train Splash in the first place.
I'm trying to solve a problem, and the problem is that we miss more recoveries than we get working in low visibility diving and forensic diving. And so I'm trying to put the odds in our favor so we get more recoveries, and that's what the otter's for.
Reports suggest Splash is the only cadaver otter in the world. Hadsell says Splash participated in over 20 missions so far, finding 4 bodies in that time. Martin County Sheriff John Budenseek speaks on the impact this has for his deputies.
We see a lot of innovative things with technology, AI, but we're going back to the basics of using an animal to do what they do best, and that's to go in their own environment and detect things that don't belong there.
Sheriff Budenseek says the county responds to about 1 to 2 people each year who go missing in the water, in many cases going unsolved. The demand for a cadaver otter is so high that Hadsell plans on training another one next year.
I could probably stay out 52 weeks out of the year and just keep working. So we're going to need another otter to help with the call volume.
Splash isn't just popular in Florida. Hadsell tells me he's gained fans across the world, with people from as far as Ukraine coming here to meet the four-legged hero. Reporting in Martin County, I'm Jack Wu, CBS 12 News.